to compete for a title this summer?
Well, I think it really only a small challenge, and that's really getting back in shape and getting your timing. And I think that, it'll take probably 2 weeks or so. But I believe the players are running today. They got to be working out, whether that's at home or running on a track or running in the streets, running on the beach. However, they're all are training right now because they know there's a possibility that they will be back to work soon. And so, guys like LeBron and the Greek Freak, all those guys, Kawhi, they know they have to stay in shape. But I think that once, hopefully, this virus is over and we have contained it, then when the season does get back rolling, it'll take them probably about 2 weeks to really get their timing, because I believe all of them will be in shape going into the season to get back resumed and playing again. And I think that's all they got to get is their timing back.
Magic, are you a proponent of the necessity for a few regular season games to take place before the playoffs begin? Or are you a proponent of, hey, if we got to come back and immediately the playoffs begin, so be it, just make sure there's a postseason? What is your mindset in regards to that, and what's an ideal starting point in your eyes? Do you have a problem with the league going into the summer, like into August if necessary?
Yeah, I think that we do need definitely some games, no question about it. Now, you can do it one or two ways, right? You can say, okay, if it takes us too long to get back, then just have the teams maybe have some scrimmages between each other, right? Get some so that they can get some sense of playing again, and so do some exhibitions, some scrimmages, something like that, so they can get back to understanding how to play with each other, get back into game shape, and also their timing and their rhythm, and then go ahead into the playoff or play some regular season games. And that way they'll get all those things. So I do want a couple of games before they actually start the playoff, because it would be good not only for the guys, but it'd be good for us as the basketball fans, because we want to see them at their best. And I think that it's going to take at least a week or two to get to see them at their best.
Magic, we were talking a lot about you and Larry Bird in the previous segment, and I was saying how you guys were basketball geniuses, and then at your size, it had never been seen before. And even since you had, like, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were amazing physical talents with unparalleled work ethics and killer wills to win, but you got the feeling like that was what you're watching, not that you were watching like someone who saw the court in four-dimensional genius take over. And I really hadn't seen that in that package with a size until LeBron James. And that felt like you and Larry, a guy at this size who sees the game the way he does. And you were instrumental in bringing him to L.A. And now here he is on the Lakers, a Lakers team that's been one of the two best teams all season, but now had this long break. Given that LeBron, if you agree, is that kind of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson basketball genius, one of the reasons he's had such longevity, how does the break affect the Lakers and LeBron? Does it affect them differently than it affects other teams?
Oh, it's definitely going to affect them more because they were playing so well. They were on top of their game, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. And then a guy like LeBron, who was playing, I mean, this was one of his best seasons ever, and dominating the league, it affects him too, because, when you're rolling, when you're playing well, as an individual and as a team, you want to keep playing. You don't want to break. And so it's going to affect him. It's just like Milwaukee and the Greek Freak. It's going to affect them too. So you want, as soon as possible, for the league to get back. I will say LeBron is just like Larry and myself, and he is so unbelievable when he's coming down that court. His head is up. He's always willing to make the pass to make his teammates better, but also, too, he can go down the middle and dunk on you. And he's added something to his game. He reinvented himself this season because he was posting more. He was taking those guards down or forwards down low and punishes them in the post. And I really enjoyed seeing him just reinvent himself. That's why he's having this outstanding season, an MVP-type season.
Magic, a two-part question. Number one, who, if the season were to end right now, who would have been your MVP when the season stopped? Would it have been LeBron James or the Greek Freak? A, and B, based on the way the Lakers were looking, did you believe that they had finally got themselves to a point where they were the legitimate favorites to win the West, if not at all, rather than the Los Angeles Clippers?
When I first started the season,
It's something you can't touch, but certainly you can feel. And during these times, we need any form of positive news. And enter Mark Cuban. The Mavericks owner believes sports is what we need right now. But Cuban is more of a realist than glass half full guy. And he added that the NBA should wait on a medical light at the end of the tunnel. But listen to some of these other quotes. Adding from Cuban. Hopefully by the middle of May, we're starting to get back to normal, and the NBA is playing games. Maybe not with fans, but we're playing because sports plays such an important role. You know, people want something to cheer for. People want something to rally around. People want something to be excited about, end quote. Commissioner Adam Silver has not made a decision on when the season will resume. For much more on this story, senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski joining us now. Woj, you have a story up on ESPN.com on how the league is handling the next steps in what to do with the remainder of the season. What are those options right now?
Kevin, really contingencies on top of contingencies, because it is, and certainly that was an optimistic view from Mark Cuban. There are those who are less optimistic about being able to restart the season by mid-May. But, you know, so much of it is going to be how the virus plays out, the country's reaction and discipline and social distancing, the government's handling. There are so many unknowns that right now teams, who want drop dead dates from the league office, they're not getting drop dead dates on potential scenarios. And so front offices, you're seeing more collaboration, Kevin, among teams who are competitors, who this time of year are fighting for playoff spots. You're seeing a lot of conversation among general managers, team presidents, about how best to go forward with their own teams and how they're handling conditioning with players, their communication with their players, to try to keep all of them ready to return, hopefully at some point this season.
All right, plenty of conversation in this next story in Philly. The ownership group of the Sixers and the New Jersey Devils, led by Josh Harris, have reversed course after facing backlash on a plan for a 20% reduction on employee salaries above $50,000. Now, the news came hours after Sixers star Joel Embiid committed to help employees out in light of the planned reductions. What's the big picture takeaway here from the Sixers situation and how other owners around the league watch this play out?
Well, there were a lot of owners who loved the idea that the Sixers had come out and done this, reduced salaries, that they were the first one out, that Josh Harris was taking the hits on it. There were many owners who liked it even less that he reversed course, because no owner right now wants to see his net worth trending on Twitter when they log in, and the criticism that came with the Sixers on this decision. But you're going to see more owners with more teams as we get deeper into this hiatus strongly consider, doing things such as furloughs, payroll reductions, even layoffs. But you're probably not going to see any come out today in the wake of what happened with the Sixers in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, and a side note, Embiid also pledged $500,000 to COVID-19 medical relief, according to our Ramona Shelburne. Woj with the very latest from the NBA.
Interviewed him on Thursday here was the part that got me thinking. So I wanted to bring in Brian Windhorst, our NBA insider, who is, you see there, and Jalen's going to join us live in a second as well. And so, Windy, I'm going to start with you, because he mentioned the idea of whatever they do in hockey, it has to have some integrity if there's going to be a champion, and I get that. And you also heard Adam Silver saying in that interview he did with Rachel last week, look, there may be a civic responsibility here to come back and do whatever we can do in order to provide some respite and some entertainment for fans. So with that as the backdrop, what are you hearing about